Hey everybody, guys, welcome to another video on Masterful TV. As we all know that the agenda of this TV is helping you reach your best. So helping you reach your best could be with different tools. It could be through different programs, through different tools, different activities, and also through amazing and awesome speechofiers. Now today's speechofier is, I would call her a wondrous woman. Yes, guys, this is your Women's Day special because this is the month of March, and I have this wondrous woman. I would say, I know her from my college days. We passed out together as architects, same year, same batch. But her journey from designing spaces to designing people's life is wondrous. So also, I would love to add that Aishwarya, who has been, I'm sure she's busy with a lot of stuff, but also she mentioned she doesn't do much of the interviews because she believes in contributing more and talk less about her work. Somehow I'm very thankful to her that she has been here and she's like, okay, Shweta, let me just come on board and, contribute for your Masterful TV. I'm very thankful to Aishwarya for that. But one of the best things that I like about Aishwarya is that she is an award winner for Humanitarian. So I would say she's one of the best humans and actually traveling the world around, with her work, with her contribution, what she has been doing is, guys, I think this one life is never enough. So with this note, I want to welcome Aishwarya Joshi. Yes, welcome to Masterful TV.
Shweta, never in my wildest dream did I imagine something like this will happen. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. You reintroduced me to myself. That was great. Yeah. Welcome. I certainly started liking myself. So thank you.
Yes, I think self-love is one of the things that we follow in mindset coaching as well.
Agreed.
Ash, it's wonderful to have you back. I think we are connecting after more than 17 years, 15, 17 years.
Yeah, right? More than that. Yeah.
So also, guys, we've been thinking about it. We and I and Ash, when we were touch basing about this topic today and all, we were just talking about it. The same episode today, what is happening in March 2022, was supposed to happen in March 2021 when I started this Wondrous Women. But we were thinking that everything is destined. There is a destiny that why Aishwarya was not maybe available or last year, but right now she is here. So yes, I also believe in destiny. And I think it's one of my favorite thing to have you here, Aishwarya. So
pleasure is mine.
Yeah. So Ash, I think I haven't described you much in the introduction. That's what I can say. Could you please tell us this wondrous journey? Because I know that during college time, you have also gone through a lot of struggles in your family life, in your personal life. I know you as a person, but I think we all change. 15 years is a very long time to change from where you were and where you are today. So could you please, put some light on your journey? Where did you start? What did you do after architecture? And, this award of being humanitarian. So what is that all about? Please tell us more.
Okay. I'll try to keep it short because I feel that, the way it has evolved now is that when I look back, I don't see my story. Okay, but what I see is I'm part of many small stories, and that's my story. So I can't possibly put together all the small stories, but I think my life is full of these small stories, and that is why it is so rich with so many countries, with so many different people, so many cultures, so many learnings, and also mistakes. But I think the grind makes you stronger. And as far as I'm concerned, I think my life made me a firm believer in the process of things. Yes, I underwent a real, hard time when I lost my parents when I was 15. But today, when I look back, I feel that I had the advantage of growing up alone. Yes, the process makes any individual stronger who goes through this kind of circumstances. But I feel that on the way, I develop more trust, more faith in how life can change and for good. and how you can meet good people, and how you can make the most of the opportunities that are always hidden in challenges. It's just that you have to develop yourself to identify that, and that is what makes the good different from the great.
So
And my life has been all about that every moment. Humanitarian awards, rewards, accolades, I'm grateful for that, and it has just happened along the way, thanks to my mentors that I found through this journey.
wow.
And they have always groomed me. Each one of them has always groomed me to be comfortable in my own skin, and be my and do my work 100%, and rest will happen. And that is why I don't have a website. So I do not promote what I do. I am not looking out for any sales pitches, but I think I want it to happen organically. It was a challenge at the beginning, and you need to have a lot of faith in, and a lot of people can look at that as a risk. But I feel it all paid off at the end. My journey, where I practiced architecture in Dubai, and after I passed out, I practiced for almost 10 years.
Okay.
And I have worked on iconic buildings in Dubai. 3 years out of that, I was on site. So it was a big deal that time because there were not many women on site. But again, there was a purpose over there that introduced me to the laborers, and that's where my journey began. And slowly and steadily during recession, I started designing lives, as you mentioned in your introduction.
Yes.
So from designing spaces, I started feeling that how is it that I can make this sustainable for the people who are undergoing this struggle, and just giving them something might take care during emergencies. And yes, during emergency you don't throw wisdom at people.
Absolutely.
So you first be compassionate towards their immediate needs, but beyond that, I always wondered what happens when you run out of things to give. And that is something which I have held very close to my heart, because it is very relevant to my journey also. That when I was going through a struggle, what happens when people run out of things to give me, or what happens when I run out of people who give me something. It's the
Yeah.
converse of that is true, so I've learned that lesson the hard way, and I would like to share that experience and wisdom with whoever deserves it. Not just the underprivileged, but it comes into leadership, it comes into corporate engagement, it comes into training the NGO staff, or any player in the humanitarian sector. I felt that this whole thing around help, it is thrown around like salt and pepper. And nobody in the right frame of mind needs to beg or reach
Ask
out
help
for
or something. Yeah.
yeah. Asking for help is fine. If you don't know, you're learning, yes, be open to help.
Yeah.
But giving them something all the time is not going to solve their problems. And I
True.
am personally grateful to all the people in my life. They know who they are. That those are my heroes who help me to help myself.
Wow.
And I will be grateful to them for the rest of my life. And obviously I cannot they don't need my help right now, but the least I can do is pay it forward. So now during recession, I went through a lot of thinking process, and a lot of self analysis also. And I wondered that how can I be part of this process at an early stage. And I think that my journey took me in a direction where I hit gold, and I found a solution. And I also threw myself in certain grinds like competitions, also workshops, and I asked questions, I asked for help, I engaged in volunteering. I was also the country coordinator for the UN poverty campaigns, and I helped a lot in the labor camps. I have empowered more than 4,000, 5,000 laborers. I've lost track of that now. And all this was driven by, yes, a kind of passion, but also a certain amount of dispassion, which means that they do not need to be connected to me all the time.
Okay.
What I am giving them is a tool. So I'm not going to keep doing this for the rest of my life. And that's where somewhere I had my aha moment. And I said, okay, what I have been doing while volunteering, while helping out, and parallelly, even in my work during architecture, I was very good at creating cohorts, which means I had a knack of, putting a good team together to do something. I still remember that during my interview as an architect for my first job in Dubai, I refused to give an AutoCAD test because, it was, I was very clear on that. I said that I know enough AutoCAD to operate as an architect. If you are going to judge me on the basis of AutoCAD, then I do not want to operate as a draftsman. No disrespect for draftsmen, but then everybody has a purpose.
Yeah, you know your niche. Yes, of course.
Yeah, so if I'm a qualified architect, then I know enough. And then I was asked, what if you don't know at some point? I said, I'll find out. It's not rocket science. There is no architect in the world who can claim that he knows everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's not just AutoCAD. So I guess I got my job because of being adamant.
Amazing. I think, wow. I think everybody else was looking for a best interview and getting the job. I think this is a good tip.
I think that is something, again, which I would like to weave it back to being true to yourself and your craft, and just being comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah.
So I think by evening, I had the job at the salary I demanded. And immediately, I had to join, and rest is history. I never really had the reason to leave that company.
Okay.
Yeah. So because I feel that when they value your work, you tend to give more. So I was lucky that I got to work in an organization like that, where I had a Scottish boss, I had a Lebanese boss, I had a South African boss. So I learned a lot from them, and I observed them, and they mentored me well. So I was very good at forming cohorts, and I used the same skill of project management, of master planning, concept design, execution, implementation, working with consultants, all that put together in creating cohorts for community development. And I ran some pilots with certain NGOs. I did some work in prison also. I did some work for the labor camps because that was a need of the hour at that time locally. And people started acknowledging the fact that I'm good at identifying the correct player for the job.
Wow.
And that is where I started thinking seriously that, okay, how can I formalize this? And maybe this is what I'm good at. And somewhere when I was 21, so I had written in my bucket list that at 31, I will do something else.
Okay.
I didn't know what, but
I want a new life. Yeah.
Yeah. So I when I looked at my bucket list, besides Paris, London, whatever, I had written this, and that was like a reminder for me. And the right things happened at the right time, and I learned, I equipped myself, I got certified, because if you have a difficult dream, I always believe that you have to take responsibility to fulfill that dream.
True.
Just because you're doing some humanitarian work doesn't mean that you go out and feel entitled that I am doing this work for humanity and you have to support me. No, that have to is not required. At least this is my humble opinion, and it has not bothered me, because I have taken responsibility and it makes me feel comfortable. It's
Yeah,
not
and I
to
think
show
it was
anybody.
your choice, Ash. It
It's
was
my
your choice.
choice, because maybe I have always felt better when I have taken responsibility for myself. And somewhere, since childhood, because of whatever circumstances, I was forced to take responsibility. But then at a certain period of time, I realized that that is the right thing to do. Okay, I learned it the hard way as usual, but no regrets. So I think somewhere I made it part of my DNA because I liked it that way. It
Mm.
was not a pressure anymore for me. It just became a way of life. So if tomorrow I have to let go of designing spaces, as you said,
Yes,
and then design lives, it's a responsibility
absolutely.
to take that road, that is travel less.
Mm.
And at the same time, if you are taking responsibility of somebody else's lives, that itself is a responsibility.
Much more than designing a
So you have to equip yourself with the correct knowledge.
well said.
Yeah, just because you're volunteering here and there, taking selfies for an hour, that doesn't make you someone who can transform the world. You
Yeah.
can transform the world, but then give it time, give it effort,
I would say
and
it's like the
take the
way
correct
keep
approach.
incepting the right seed, and then it is
Yes,
going to come out the
you have to
way.
water it, you have to give it proper manure. It's something like that, and you do that for yourself, because the satisfaction you get out of taking responsibility and the correct result. And like I keep telling to all the children and the university students and NGO staff and whoever I consult, provide consultancy, I tell them that, so I'm a process consultant. So I try to tell them it is the process that will make you great.
True.
So the goals are fine. You all have a mission and vision and everything, but how you reach that mission and vision, I always tried to understand that even when I was volunteering, and I found a little bit of ambiguity around that, because you can reach your goal. Like, there is no dearth of resources, there is no dearth of NGOs. So I had no appetite for building one more NGO, that okay, I am also going to do this. No, I just thought, fine, they all exist now. What is it that I want to do? And that's where I thought that they don't have a middleman who can speak both languages
Yeah,
and can bring together their strengths on a
true.
common platform to solve a challenge in
Yeah.
the correct way. So that is missing, and that process is very difficult. That's why it's ignored by many.
Yeah, and
It
also
is
I think
followed by
the
few.
manpower, and it's also the manpower, Ash, because NGOs run with a good faith, of course, and they get a lot of funding as well. But I think there needs to be something. There's nobody to tell them that this is the best way to go, or this is the best mindset to do it, or something like that. So I think you completed that. Is that right?
Yeah, the mindset is important. Manpower doesn't solve everything, because you can have 100 people doing the wrong job.
Well said. Oh my God, true that. Yes.
you know and you can have just a effective team of 3 people, like a golden triangle, who can move mountains.
Yeah.
So again, the correct mindset and the correct approach, and how you want to achieve that goal is
I think
important,
through you
because
is the correct guidance, I would say.
so that
This is
is
the
where I
correct
thought
way
that I
to
can be a
do
lighthouse. And it happened very organically. Like, when I was preparing my first business plan, my friend asked me that, what the hell do you want to be? And so I suddenly blurted out, I want to be a lighthouse. So
it. You needed that. Yes.
yeah, it just happened, the truth be told.
Yeah.
And then but then I added this word cohort, is because the job is, the cohort will be the lighthouse. The people who come together will be the lighthouse for others to follow. We
Mhm.
will move. So if I have to explain what I do, like a business model, it's like I bring together cohorts to solve a certain cause or a challenge in a cause. We solve it, we do a pilot, and we move on. So then that becomes like a process for others to follow, or a role model. So sometimes people don't even know that there is a process, there is a road that can lead you to your vision and mission. Or we help them to access a market that they feel that they would never reach. So we help them to tap into opportunities which they are not aware of. Right from the smallest thing of when people put, I need a laptop as their requirement, we try to solve it immediately, because that's just a tool.
True.
You cannot make that focus of your project.
True.
So we try to redefine and help them to look at things in a different lens and not go around with a begging bowl. They need to be clear about what is the transformation that they're going to create. When you speak that language, when you speak that story, and you give a clear instruction and you give a clear direction for the person also who can help you, he will help you selflessly. And that is the relationship which will go long way.
True.
So I feel that yes, there are a lot of good people out there who have been helping, who like to help, but now they are also losing their will to help, because there is a certain irregularity, and there is no consistency in the impact. So do small, doesn't matter, but do it right. Do it once, do it right. And for me, it was very important that I do these small things. So I'm God of small things.
That's the thing, that it's like, if you ask my story, if your story is like a lot of stories together.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I
Very
feel
good. I love
that I can do these small stories because a lot of people need that direction.
Yeah.
I don't believe in doing this one big project and then finishing off. Yeah, I mean, that also has its own value, but then, the process is something that we all need to work on. And that's why I have also equipped myself with sustainability, because I'm a certified social impact auditor. So for the bigger picture, I do a pre-verification for companies. Recently, I did a pre-verification for a Swedish company. So I'm not losing track of the bigger picture, not a headless chicken, compassionately, trying to just do small things. No, I want to maintain that balance, because when I know, I'm aware of the bigger picture,
yes,
but that needs work in smaller areas so that it builds into that picture.
Absolutely.
Just as an architect, you have to start with something. You have to start building something. Don't start from the roof. You have to build a foundation, then you have to build your framework, and then you have to build your walls, and then you can play around with the interiors. You can dance there, you can do whatever, the building will hold you. Absolutely. So it is very important to make sure that the building holds you. Similarly, it is very important to make sure that a humanitarian project holds you. And there is always room for improvement. There is packaging, there is branding, and all that you can do. But if your building cannot hold you, you'll topple. Then it becomes like a one-time wonder or a temporary structure.
One-time wonder, it sounds good. Yes.
Yeah. So, and then we wonder, like, what just happened? So for me, it was okay that from whatever I have learned from my life, I would take it forward to wherever I can as per my experience. So that is why I made a choice to work only on 4 verticals.
Okay.
In the humanitarian space, which means I work on peace building. I have been in Dubai for more than 17 years of my life now, and I owe it to that region. My success, I owe it to that region. And I feel for the people over there, and it doesn't matter whether I'm a Hindu or a Muslim. I have been in Iraq 5 times. I have been 30 kilometers away from Mosul when the war happened. And probably I was the only Hindu standing there. And I was holding a Muslim child. And I'm saying this confidently because I have been fed by people. I have been taken care on a Lebanese highway when I lost track of Google Maps, and on a Christmas Eve. And I have been saved by people, although they don't know my language.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel I have been offered homes to stay just because I am there to help them. And people have turned vegetarian when they invite me for dinner. Although a Muslim household, it's vegetarian food is like quite rare.
Doesn't exist. Yeah.
Although I do have some friends who are vegetarians.
Okay.
But in general, I would say I was welcomed in a Palestinian house. I was welcomed in a Jordanian house. I was welcomed in an Iraqi house, Kurdish house,
So,
everything. Like, and I have no stories to say that I faced this problem. Rather, I just like a Indian auntie would send, like a dabba to you, like the Indian way,
yes.
uh, on a weekend, just because I couldn't, somebody was, my staff's mother was worried that on a Friday, because Friday is their Sunday,
Yeah.
so I might not be able to find vegetarian food to eat.
Okay.
She actually prepared a meal in the morning for me and sent it with my staff on her off holiday.
Yes.
And yeah, that is so sweet and
Yeah.
completely unexpected, you know. And I have found people in the hotel also, watching me over breakfast and then asking me, "Are you Indian? So you can't eat this food. Do you want something else?" And they found a Tamilian chef in the building in Iraq, and he made parathas for me
So that is
with
parathas
special
in Iraq.
permission. With
Wow.
special permission. See, the thing is that, I'm sharing these stories is because somebody is listening, and this is real life. It's beyond Google, it's beyond media, and this is
Absolutely.
what happens on ground,
Yeah.
and
Well,
that is why
I
we
think you're
survive.
sharing stories
Yeah,
of goodness exists, which,
and that is a mindset.
yes, but it's in your mind. It's like what we say is like, at Masterful, we always say that it's all about your mindset. Whatever you think is before you. So it's all that goodness within you, whatever you're doing is getting reflected. This is what I can say. Is that right?
Yes, that is true, but again, you need to find a clean mirror also.
Yes.
So I would like to give some credit to the people also who I met on the way, whether it is a 25-year-old or it is a 60-year-old.
Yeah.
So I think, yes, I agree to your point that what we feel, whatever is our mindset, that
It's still
reflects.
you. Believe me, it's still
Yes,
you that you are the one that. So it's like how
you
you see the
attract
world.
that kind of people. Yes, there is a part of it that is, yes, you attract that kind of good people
Yes.
towards you.
Yes.
Yes, and I feel that then there are people that even if there is a lot of goodness in you, still there are people who bring out the worst in you.
Tell me
So
about it. I think yes, of course. I
yeah, so
totally
I
agree.
feel it takes two to tango. So that is why I feel that it's all about how you proceed, and it is a grind. It's not that easy, but I think when you walk with that perspective that something will work out, and something, what your craft, and you will manage.
Hmm.
So yes, there has been chaos, there has been challenge, there have been challenges.
Hmm.
I have been stranded at times, but help has always come. I have been, in near Yazidi communities. I have dealt with, rape victims and ISIS returned, escaped, people. And it's not a joke trying to deal with them. You learn a lot from them, and you have to change your gear. And I'm just grateful that I have the opportunity of engaging with such communities across the world. And I have learned a lot. I have got inspired by some of the mothers and their stories, and I had some exclusive interviews with some victims of war. And that's where I say that I'm a part of all small stories, but that 30 minutes itself, uh, maybe there was a purpose, because that lady was interviewed by so many people during the war, because she had become like an object of interview. And I just wanted to understand, and her story is not published anywhere, but I just wanted to interview her for the sake of research. And I went there in my Punjabi, And generally I don't go to these places in dull colors. People feel we have to subdue. No, I go with bright colors, because you attract that nice colorful energy. I
Yes.
go with bright yet subtle, Fab India type colors.
Hmm.
And because children look at me, women look at me. So I went there, and then when I started the interview, she was there with a hijab and everything, and she was like this, like all closed up. But in those 30 minutes, you have to see that when somebody talks to you as a friend and really tries to understand what you're going through,
Hmm.
and not from this space of pity, but an
Your
understanding.
story.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and then suddenly in those 30 minutes she was like this, and then she also removed her hijab, and she showed me her hair, and she touched my hair and asked me that, which oil you use. You Indians are very particular about some certain things.
Yes.
Will you get it for me next time? And I like the color of your dress, but I'm mourning right now. So I think this was a very girly conversation that she managed to have,
Yeah.
because she found that trust.
Yeah.
And I
I
think
think the
trust
talk
is
just
very
opened her
important.
up. Yeah.
Trust is very important to develop in any humanitarian work.
Hmm.
And that is why I go slow, and I'm not in a hurry to finish anything. I have a plan, and I go as per the temperaments of the people I work with, and the requirements and the framework that is available. So again, I would like to weave it back to architecture. You don't change the site, right? You do
Yeah.
a survey of the site, and then just because it is a steep site, you don't just make it flat and say, no, I'm comfortable working on a flat site, get rid of the steep slope.
Do the filling up. I know. Yeah.
Yeah, you do some filling, you do some cutting, and
Yeah.
you try to make the most out of the resources. So that's where I feel that I was lucky that I built my humanitarian career
Hmm.
on the shoulders of architecture, because architecture is a very undermined field, according to me.
True.
We learn a lot in this field compared to many other fields. We
True.
mentor people, we unknowingly mentor people, we become very good project managers, we become master of all trades, we manage people, we are very alert all the time, and we can multitask. So all these are areas which contribute to humanitarian projects also.
Right.
And somebody who comes from the corporate background and understanding of compassion and how humanitarian works, how the framework works.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a certified CSR professional also, so all that helps. So when I'm talking, I'm looking at the bigger picture as well as looking at the other picture,
And
and I
then
think
just
the
taking care of your
success.
daily stuff, that what do you need to
So
do?
my
It's like,
mindset is
yeah.
like balanced, and I have developed it over a period of time. And I think that is the success of all the projects,
True.
that when it is done, then people get it.
Yeah.
And I'm used to that, because I don't try to explain it before it is done. Because even when I made the transition, I know that most of the people around me thought that I had gone cuckoo in my mind. So
True. So, but Ash, I was just thinking that, 10 years of a job, what was that trigger that made you, for example, right now you don't work as an architect anymore. What was that trigger point that you're like, I just want to leave this job and I want to follow this path? Was there any trigger? What was it within you that just made you leave everything for whatever you worked hard for 10 years and follow this path?
So first of all, I do operate as an architect, but maybe I don't take projects around architecture. But when I put on my architectural hat, and when I'm looking at a plan in a school, or when I'm building a well, or I'm doing something, see, the thing is that you have a degree in architecture, so you never stop being an architect.
True.
So I wouldn't say that I stopped, but yes, I stopped taking projects, or I stopped working in an architectural firm. So, but that knowledge that I have acquired of 10 years of working as an architect and 5 years of degree,
True.
that will never leave me. So yes, I
Absolutely.
am still a qualified architect, just as
Hmm.
I am a qualified CSR professional, just as I am a qualified social impact auditor. So
Hmm.
I use this knowledge. So I have actually 3 to 4 certifications and one degree to help me do my work. So I operate in all ways. I change hats whenever I want.
You use those
Yeah.
skills, but you use it
It's
in a
up to
different
me.
way now.
Yeah. So it's never like, I don't operate as an architect, because that's, how much pain we went through. So
Oh,
yeah.
tell me about this 5 years. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
So
I enjoyed
anyways,
all 5 years.
for the trigger was during recession,
Hmm.
2008, 2009, where I had around 900 workers on my site. And then sometimes I had 1500 workers on my site. And that kind of brought me to do my kind of CSR. And I used to help them regularly through some community, volunteers. And we used to do it in a very informal manner. But I think I decided to take the manual with a NGO at some point, and start teaching them life skills to cope up with the trauma that they were going through during recession. See, if we as educated people were undergoing that trauma, which a lot of people went through recently during COVID, imagine the level of trauma that these guys are going through, especially when they cannot talk to their family members, or not because there is any restriction, but maybe they ran out of money and then they're not able to go
Travel
home.
back. Yeah.
Lost their jobs, they're waiting for their visas, things like that. So somewhere I decided to provide them with tools, and I started doing that for certain Emirates, and I started volunteering and launched certain pilots. The next thing I know, it became like a part of 75 years of Dulsco celebrations. And then more people started coming in. Then some authorities also asked. So I just went with the flow. And then during this time, there was something going inside me that, okay, I'm good at doing all these cohorts. So I need to make that transition somewhere. So I took almost 3 years while practicing architecture to parallelly think of what is this and how is it
Do I
evolving.
really enjoy doing this? Yeah.
No, also I was saving that if I have to take a separate degree, or if I have to do my master's, or if I have to do whatever, and take a break from whatever I was doing, which was a lucrative salary as an architect. So I should be able to live like a queen. So, and with dignity, because that transition is my responsibility. So I took some time, and I tell everybody, don't be in a haste to make that transition. You do your calculations and make sure you're not a liability for others. And then when I reached a point where I thought, okay, that's it, I'm ready, I made that transition. I went on a sabbatical, and I went to Singapore. I came to India. I also did 2 certifications then. And then I came back and started from scratch in a construction company as a CSR manager. So I think that when you're trying to do something, it's okay to learn instead of suddenly say, I have arrived. And that helped me because within around 6 months I found my footing. And then within the next 3 months, 3 to 4 months, I found an opportunity to enter a competition in Dubai International Financial Center. And that was a social enterprise competition where the I would say the concept of social enterprise was evolving. And I entered that competition just as for fun, honestly. And because my Arabic friend pushed me. And next thing I know, that that business plan has been selected as one of the top 10. I said, okay, so now I have to go through a mentorship program for 4 weeks. And I think that mentorship program really groomed me a lot. My mentor was amazing. And he really refined my thoughts and gave me the correct perspective on how to use my own skills for the benefit of many, and how to create a business for good. So standing on such firm footing when I came out of the mentorship plan, and I was also the first person to present as a finalist at DIFC. That gave me a lot of confidence, because you like these venture investors and everybody, and angel investors and all listening to you.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of pushed me to think seriously. And after the competition, I was advised by certain good people around, in the players in the market, the directors of certain companies who actually showed faith in me.
Hmm.
And they helped me to put together this company that I call the Lighthouse Cohort.
Okay.
And that's how my journey began. So I took that leap of faith and started walking. And next thing you know is I wanted to do something in CSR and everything. Okay, but my vision was always the development sector.
Okay.
And 7 years down the line, yes, all that awards and rewards have happened because I kept my vision clear.
Hmm.
I did not fall for the marketing or the sales or whatever, because that was not my goal.
True. You're so
So
clear in what you want to do, how you want to contribute.
yeah, so I started this whole journey to fix something. And if I lose track of that, then I should go back to, building spaces.
Absolutely.
So for me, it was very important. It was a struggle at the beginning, obviously. So for 1.5 years, people didn't understand what the hell I was trying to do.
Hmm.
So till the projects were complete, and then I delivered certain things professionally and all, then people started understanding, okay, this is something to look. Then the
Hmm.
media wrote about me. They wrote stories on, the work. Then
Hmm.
somebody made a documentary on the labor camp and all. So then there was this Dubai heroes around it. So I think all these people who projected my work correctly. I'm thankful to that. And that is how then people started understanding what I do. So again, we work around the cohorts. So these people who projected my story correctly
Hmm.
are as much a part of the cohort as anybody else.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to communicate a message through my work that we live in times where we need to harness the power of cohorts only. Stop playing in silo. We need to work together. And how will you work together? You can form cohorts and work together. Bring your strengths to the table. Instead of saying what cannot be done, let's put our minds together, and then put our strengths together, put our resources together, and then we can make it work. Just like in architecture, it's just that it's a fancy career and a fancy field now, well established, so people understand. Even as an architect, you and I know that
Yeah.
when you are given a site, you have to put together a cohort to make it work. You cannot say
Absolutely.
this will not
Not a
work, that
one-man
will.
show. Yes, as you
Yeah.
said. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the same. Professionalism is something that I'm trying to nurture in
Hmm.
the humanitarian space, because if it is not taken care now, we are in a good space right now. So if it's not taken care now, it's as good as resources not used correctly.
Yeah.
So that is my vision, to harness the power of cohorts. My vision is not to do charity. A lot
So
of people are doing it.
So with this, Ash, I just wanted to share something. I think it's just 3 months last year, I think we all were studying new things, right? This COVID time was also more like an
Yeah, yeah.
awakening and enlightenment time for me as well.
Learning spaces.
Yes, so I
Yeah.
am very thankful to COVID time for myself. I developed into new things. So I did a mindfulness in action certification. It was all about, I was like wondering, what is this mindfulness? I know it's all about breathing, but I was like, for that one breathing, I need to do a certification. So I was curious and I landed up. So my teacher there, what the message that I came out was, as exactly what you're doing, wise person is that person who doesn't make himself wise. Wise person is that person in whose company everybody else feels wise.
Correct.
So when you were talking this, I was just thinking exactly you are that kind of wise person who has been making people wise. So I think it's biggest quality because what I see, I also deal with kind of corporate worlds and I've seen the rat race, Ash, and it kind of scares the shit out of me, frankly, because I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to be a part of this, or I don't want to join the rat race. And sometimes this competition, I feel sometimes that there is no humanity left. So with this, I wanted to ask you this question that you've been traveling around the world, right? So many places, contributing. What is it that all I know that all the humans are same. Let it be, a person who's Asian, a person who's American, doesn't matter what looks, or South African, doesn't matter what. What is it that common between all the humans that you think that Shweta, that's it, this, we all are the same? And also, I want to know the struggle point of all the humans today. I know it's like a very chunked up question, a very common generic question I'm asking, but what is it that we all humans are struggling right now around the world? If you may just, with your experience, if you can think of something.
I think we all are struggling with faith. We all want to keep faith, but we are running out of reasons. That's what I feel.
That's deep. That's
Yeah.
much deep.
We all want to keep faith.
Trust is something.
I see. Trust is a different world actually, but faith is something that you don't see, but you're supposed to have.
Yeah. Is it faith can be related, as if you're saying it's more towards staying hopeful? Is that so?
No, it's just that you know that something in an unexpected way, or if you go with the flow, you keep moving, and then you will reach your goal. For to each his own. But with current times, there is so much of negativity being spoken around that positive news is less. Unfortunately, how much ever we say that be positive and all that, it doesn't work like that. To thine own self be true, you have to really question that, do you really have faith in what you're doing? And a lot of people have, and when you talk about rat race, I would just like to weave to that do you have faith in your job? A lot of people are resigning across the world. There is a separate study that was made recently where they call it it's like loads of people have resigned during COVID. You might think that people have lost their jobs, but there is another side to the story. So a lot of people have resigned because they lost faith in the job that they were doing. You have that faith that, okay, this will lead me here. And then suddenly you have your aha moment that, no, this will not lead me here. Like one COVID changes everything.
True.
Got it. So now it is their journey to re-establish their faith in whatever is close to their heart, their model of the world. So that is where the world is moving right now. And it's the same with the corporates, because even the corporates have questioned that, okay, the business model that we are following, do we all have faith in that business model? If one COVID can come and change things. Okay, so that's where, now a lot of people are talking about sustainability and things like that, because they need to redesign their business model and have faith in the process. It cannot be a rat race anymore. Yes, it will take a lot of time. It's not going to happen the way it just comes out of my mouth and it works. No, that's where you need to keep working on the process, and then you have to have cohorts working on different things. Only then it will move one step at a time. It will be done in phases, and that will reinstate your faith in your own business. Wonderful. And that's where you will have your employees supporting you during crisis, and they will have faith in the company that, no, my company will sail through. Why? Because I'm as much a part of it. I'm valued. A lot of people didn't feel valued. Like during COVID, they were fired right, left, and center. So when you value people, you sail through. Even you hold on to each other like a family, right?
Yes.
You don't throw people out of the family just because there is a crisis.
True.
You make it work, right?
Or the other way, you make it work. Yes.
Yeah. So even if you let go of people, they have to be, treated with dignity. So I think now people are having those conversations because a lot of people lost faith in the system. And it's the journey of faith right now across the world. And it'll take around 5 to 7 years maybe to have, like, not a perfect, but a much better model. Yeah, because I'm saying this because to actually fix things needs time. And we need to give that time. It's an investment. So it's like a certain number of years are required for people to be educated, for people to understand, for companies to change their processes and operations. So we need to give them that benefit of doubt and give them that time, and that is why things like I decided to go with the certification for social auditor is a fairly new one, and it is connected to the ISO 26000, which was released recently. So it has the SDGs, it has the self-declaration, and it has the verification process, which prepares the company to do a third-party verification. But there are phases in that, so that you give a chance to the company to do a pre-verification, which I can do, and then they can fix things and then do a third party.
Okay.
Otherwise, generally what happens is, okay, we have done a third party verification, tick, 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 tick. We have a GRI report, tick, 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 tick. We did this, we did that, we did this activity with. No, it just too much information thrown in your direction. And I feel that we need to redefine words. And I see that happening across the world, just to answer your question.
Yeah.
And transparency has changed face. Accountability has changed face. Transparency is not just showing that we did this, we did that. No, it could be, if we are talking about trade, then it goes down to your supply chain and your reputation with your vendors. So if your reputation is good, if you have paid your vendors correctly throughout, and you've been good to them, they have been good to you, and it's each other's reputation. In humanitarian space also, it's your reputation. You don't I think the best way to be transparent is not say that. You don't have to say it, it shows. Your actions show it. Whatever you say and whatever you do, it is very transparent. So you don't have to go around justifying that you're transparent.
Okay.
That is like the highest you can be. Yeah. And yet there are always ways to start, because there are no cheat codes over here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And accountability also, accountability is not about having that confidence in someone that, okay, this person is good at this job and he can do it. I feel accountability has also changed face, because accountability is actually that confidence in the company or the person, that even if they don't know how to do it, and if they have committed to do that, they will make sure it will happen.
True.
So it's actually the other way around. So you're accountable, and like how you are, you have a lot of, we all feel that our mothers are very accountable, because whether they know it or not, they will make it. They'll do it.
Some other way, they have the way.
Yeah, they will find a way, right? Yeah. So you say, no, I trust my mother. I have complete faith in my mother. I have complete faith in my father, or whoever, brother, or because they're accountable. So it's actually, if you think about it, it's that faith in that person, that even if they don't know how to do it, they will do it. They will find a way. And I feel that these things work better when push comes to shove in things like COVID, where you need a better mindset. Then mindset is something that you practice every day.
Absolutely. As you said, it's all about the process.
Yes.
So, yes. Absolutely.
And if you don't put a label that today I'm going to practice mindset. No,
you can't do that.
Every moment you do that, and it has to show through your actions, and it has to show through your words, and your actions should support your words. And at the same time, you need to build your energy. Yes. So that's where maybe you spoke about breathing, and all these things help. Whenever I go to a refugee camp, that is so much low energy that I need to keep my energy high if I have to survive.
True.
So it is very important that I give importance to myself also. And before I leave, I make sure that I prepare myself like a week in advance with all the ammunition, and my energy is high. And I cut down on all the negativity that can pull me down, possibly. At the same time, even when I come back from a refugee camp. I have, downloaded so much of stuff from them that I, not because of COVID, but I'm so used to this self-isolation for 7 days. So COVID didn't make any difference to me.
To you, yes.
So yeah, because when I come back, I generally work from home because I do not allow my energy to get in touch with people around me, because it can trigger an anger, it can trigger something else, and these are emotions which are not your own. So you tend to I need to do a cleansing. I need to give some time for all those emotions to fall off.
True, because
And I can be the person I am.
Yes, that is
So
fantastic to do. Yes.
yeah, so mindset is, being aware of all the weaknesses also that you might come across during your work. And like right now I'm isolating myself for some time because I just met some students. And yes, I spent a lot of time with students who are HIV survivors, and they are from conditions like the red light areas and things like that. But then there's nothing wrong with them. It's just that I come from a different space, and then now I was there for some time. The energy,
You
something,
have a different
yeah,
energy
I
right
have
now.
it. And especially COVID or no COVID, younger kids especially, they can come and hug you, and they tend to I get along with kids very quickly. So you can't tell them that no, go away. So
You can't. And
yeah,
that love is
you
so
have to
naive.
have lunch, dinner, or you don't know who can just pop up in front of you, and then you
Yeah.
spend time with them. And that's how you know what are their challenges, and even right down to their dress and their hairstyle. So I feel that, and whatever they talk about, so you need to see beyond what you see.
True.
And for that you have to spend time with them. And when I'm spending time with them, then suddenly, like at 8 o'clock in the night, somebody knocks on my door and says, Tai, I have memorized everything you told me, I will do it. I said, okay, good for you. And then, like, just out of as if like she wants to draw some energy out of me, she will hug me and say, I will make you proud. So yeah, I mean, I don't expect that from her, but it's just good to know.
Yes.
But then that hugging and all that, it takes away my positive energy, because yes, I am here to give that.
Yeah.
And then I need to raise my energy. It's a plus minus that I need to manage.
Yeah.
So right now I'm just isolating myself because not because there is something wrong, but because I need to regain my strength.
True.
Yeah, whatever emotions and all I underwent, so I need to regain that strength. And
That's just out of
awareness of
curiosity.
that is
How do
also
you do that?
mindset.
But how do you do that? Regaining strength. Have you set up a process for yourself?
It
How
all
do you come
depends on what is the level of my energy at that time. If I come back from Iraq and all, okay, I remember that, since you asked, when I came back from Lebanon and Jordan in I think 2016. Yeah.
Yes.
So I had almost lost my voice because I had a lot of communication issues. And by the time I came back to Dubai, I just couldn't talk, and I was scared. I literally thought I lost my voice. But then, because it was New Year and I didn't want to talk to anybody, I just went into a silence course, because that was the only way, only space available for me that time. So I went into a silence course, and I survived the 3 days, but then I was coughing a lot during that. But I think the participants were also very supportive. And somehow, through the silence and the meditations and the processes, sometimes you should allow somebody else to guide you. And I was just a student over there, 100% surrender, and I just allowed myself to be healed. And that is connected ultimately to your breathing. So your breath has a lot of power. I have always believed in that. And part of a lot of my healing has happened even after I lost my parents and all, through breathing correctly.
Yeah.
And through that breathing, I think I got my voice back. And yes, there were antibiotics and things like that, but I think there was fundamentally something wrong with communication. I knew that because
Okay.
of
Something really
whatever
trusted
workshops we
you. Yes,
did.
Ash.
Because I had come back from a space
Hmm.
which was in Burj Al Barajna. That's a space in Lebanon,
Hmm.
and this place was bombed thrice. And we had done something for the children over there, and almost for 5 days I used to go there in the morning and come back. And there were around 50 children that we worked with in that space. And it was on the top of a small school within the refugee camp, and it was raining, and we all were feeling so cold, and but we had no other space to do that.
Hmm.
But then the whole team or the
Hmm.
cohort was so beautiful and hardworking,
Hmm.
that in spite of all these conditions, when the children asked us to do a Salman Khan Bollywood number, we managed to do that for them.
Okay.
So
That's
and
nice
then
to,
yeah, but
get him on the lighter note. Yes, yes,
yeah, on a lighter note, and trust me, Bollywood is a universal language.
yes. I agree with you. It's like
Yeah,
all
and
Raj and Milka's.
yeah, but then it takes its toll. So somewhere it
Must
takes
have
its
not
toll.
been easy for all of you to just, get into that shift of
Yeah,
energy, but just
yeah,
do it because just, it might get on the lighter note. I know. I
yeah,
think
you have to
I
keep
will
it
not be
high.
able to understand even 1% of this, Ash, because I think
Yeah,
what
it
you
is
mentioned
very
is
difficult, and
way
that
beyond,
is,
way
yeah, yeah,
beyond.
yeah, you have to be there to understand that, because it's a completely different world. And that is the reason when I come back, I go into self isolation, because you know it's such a huge shift that 3 o'clock in the afternoon, or 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm in a refugee camp, and then 9 o'clock in the night, I am walking in Marina, Dubai. So I need time to
Yes.
make this transition. So it cannot be like wake up in the morning and I came back from travel, and no. So that's where my mindset helps me, and that's
Yeah.
where all my practices that I have learned. Because if you ask me about the awards and rewards and everything, all that is consistent because of the spiritual practices that you follow. And you do it not because you want to go on a spiritual shopping,
Hmm.
but you do it for yourself, to maintain your sanity, so that
Hmm.
you keep working.
That's your healing process.
That
Yes.
is my that is my maintenance process.
I think,
So
yeah, more than the healing, it's just, maintenance.
yeah, and healing is a part of it, but then I eat at odd hours. I do not follow a healthy diet, because I travel light.
Yes.
I don't have
I
everything to my
think eating
disposal.
healthy, I don't even know if, whatever is available, you must be eating that, right?
Yeah,
Because,
yeah,
yeah, whatever you
absolutely.
get, this kind of contribution that you're giving. Also, I would love to just, that is a privilege to get awarded for so much stuff, but as that, these are just, I would say, a byproducts of what you have been contributing. So I'm sure even though you get more 100 awards, it's your contribution is much more, I would say 10x of what the awards you're getting. So it's when I heard that you got an award for humanitarian, and I was like, I'm sure once somebody, when you get that award, nobody can even know what kind of contribution you're doing. So I'm sure you don't even speak about everything you do, right? So
I have respect
beyond.
for the awards, honestly, because the awards are a tool to acknowledge your work. Like I said in the past, that it is the process that makes you who you are. The
Yeah.
award reward is just an acknowledgement that you reached your goal.
Yeah.
And it helps to establish yourself as a professional and things,
Good.
as a
Absolutely.
player
I
in the
think
market.
this is very
Yeah, from an
responsible.
architect, yeah, people find it very difficult, I know. But then because the work speaks for itself, and
Hmm.
especially when you are covered by Vogue Arabia and the likes of it, so yes, definitely it helps,
Hmm.
because then you feel that your work is established and you are able to
Yeah.
take it forward. So for me, awards, rewards, and all this media coverage, and even in UK they had helped me. But UK was like, they were so I'm grateful thankful to the reporter in UK that it's a very funny story that he asked me that, I want to write a story on you. What do you think? I said, let's wait. So he said, why? Because I said, I'm bored of reading my own story, and I don't want my story to be thrown here and there, and people get tired of looking at it. I will talk about myself, or I'll share my project when I want to communicate something. So again, this awards and rewards and the coverage comes only when I want to share something.
Yeah.
So unless and until I have a story, and it is appreciated because it is a story worth reading. And I requested him that, look, you're free to say no to me later, but trust me, I want to use this opportunity with you in the right way. So give me some time. And then actually 4 months down the line, when I had a good story from Iraq, and that's where I told him, okay, I'm giving you a story now, and now you write about it. And together we wrote it, and it went well, and it was a full page.
Wonderful.
So I feel that it's all about timing.
Yes.
And when you use the media and all these areas to communicate the message, I think then you are looking at the positive side of media. Otherwise, it's just information thrown here and there. And I have some good reporters who worked with me. So, and I had some good people who made those documentaries for me. And literally, the first time somebody wanted to make a documentary, I said no. And I said, I am not comfortable in front of the camera. I'll give you photos and videos. You make your own documentary. I'm fine with that. So, but they said, no, this is not for you. And I should thank that director at that time. I still remember it was 2014. And that lady was like a mentor to me for 30 minutes. And she told me, this is not about you. How long will you keep doing this alone? You have to talk and allow me to do this, because you need to take your message forward. True. And so that more people get benefited. And she managed to make me so comfortable around the whole video. She said, you just have to be yourself, leave the rest to me. And she did a great job. And I thank her from the bottom of my heart for helping me to take that first step. Yeah, now I'm comfortable in front of the camera, but then yes, I had taken baby steps in the past, but it was not possible if that lady had not mentored me for 30 minutes. So we all need help, and it's okay to be yourself and share your weaknesses. Chances are, people will help you out to fix it. So I think my weakness was fixed by that director, and rest is history. So now I make my own documentaries. So
so you are on this track. It's like, now you'll be able to spread that message more strongly.
Correct. So it's a tool.
It's not easy, one man show with whatever message you want to give.
And you have to be detached. That's where I say it has to be done with a little bit of dispassion also. You cannot just passionately say, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. No, it's never the I. And it's never, the goal. True. It's always, okay, let's try a new story. Let's try this. I'm there. So this is how I've been operating.
Amazing. So,
and I can't do it alone. So that's why I'm dependent on a lot of cohorts.
I think with this note also, if you remember, I think people will just come to you because you have a vision, and you don't invite anybody, but people just come into you and say that, hey, you know what, Ash, you're doing this. Can we just, maybe you can just hold hands, or we can hold hands, and can we continue this journey? Isn't that most beautiful? So
yes, I take pride in that one thing.
Yeah. You are that wise person that, in your presence, everybody else feels wise. So I think this is the best compliment ever a leader can get. So with this, Ash,
you have to transform. So we are working on something called transformational leadership.
Okay.
And that leadership is for anybody in the humanitarian services. They want to become good leaders. And we offer that pro bono for certain NGO members. You have to qualify for that. And we also offer some transformational leadership, programs for corporates, because ultimately, just your previous question, I'll just weave it back to that, is humanity exists everywhere. It's just that how much have you tapped into your own humanness? And there are ways to tap into this. And volunteering is one way. So when it comes to employee volunteering, I think people should go ahead and participate, because the first person that gets benefited is you. Forget about the beneficiaries, because
Absolutely.
you will learn something, and that will make a shift in you in your own way. I don't know how, to each its own. But the more you do that, all that covering on your own humanness, slowly and steadily, like, one layer at a time, will be removed. And you will reach a point where, once you touch that core of humanness, your own attitude towards your co-workers, your own family, your friends, it will change. There are no two ways, I can guarantee you. So getting that humanness back in the corporate sector or the humanitarian sector also, people work, but then the correct way of using your own humanness is something that can be improved.
Yes, good. So with this, Ash, what are the tips, like any last tips to everybody of being a better human? What do you think makes a better human? What is it, your definition of good human, better human? And what is the tips that you would love to give to the viewers or audience who are going to watch this, or who might just keep on watching so many times?
I'd say that's a tricky question, but I'll try my level best.
Yes, please.
Yeah. I think one thing to become a good human being is take responsibility.
Okay.
Now, the thing about responsibility is, as wise men say, that responsibility is not given, it is taken. So a lot of people have experienced a transformation when they have taken responsibilities. A lot of opportunities have opened up when you take responsibility. And it definitely makes you a good human. It gives you power. We have seen that. It has given me power. It has the first step I took in life to become a good human being is to take responsibility for myself. And only when I was able to take responsibility for myself, I was able to take responsibility for others.
True.
So I think if you take, we all have compassion, we all have goodness, we all can help each other. We all have the strength to help anybody in the world in the smallest possible way, even a child.
Yeah.
Because I have done work with piggy banks also. So I say no to nobody. So, yeah, because for me, again, I see that the child has taken responsibility to do something. So I feel that the magic word is taking responsibility.
Wonderful.
And once you take responsibility for whatever you can, you don't need to, lift a mountain. You take responsibility for it. It's like a muscle that you build in the gym. The more you do, the more it develops, the more you're allowed. I never thought I would be able to take responsibility for people in Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon. They don't even speak my language, or different states in India, or Sri Lanka, or Bangladesh. Last month, like sitting in India, we have expanded to 5 different places in Bangladesh. And now I'm welcome in that country. I have so many homes to go to, and I've not even visited that country once. Why? Because I have just taken the responsibility to reach out to certain people who are like 6 to 8 hours away from Dhaka city. And they are the ones who suffered during partition. So it was need based. Now, this is like part of my work. But every day, even when you sit in a rickshaw or you are walking on the road, you take responsibility. You go to a temple, you take responsibility to help the old people. You don't say, today I volunteered and I helped a woman in the temple to climb the stairs.
This is not my responsibility.
Tick the box. Yeah, no, it should be part of your nature.
True.
Because you don't know who's watching you.
Yes.
And walk the talk with responsibility.
Like, do it for yourself, it's like, just do it for yourself. Don't cheat yourself. Yeah.
So the question was that how will you become a good human being? I think if you take responsibility for yourself and others, slowly and steadily, everything else will be taken care, and you will become a good human being. And so many others will also see that light in you. You
Yeah.
won't have to feel that, oh, am I a good human being? Slowly and steadily, every bit, the first person you take responsibility for, that person will make you feel that you're a good human being.
Absolutely.
Guaranteed. So
It's
I
good.
think responsibility is the key.
Wow. I love it. So
And travel light wherever you go.
that is so, I just told you before we started this video, my new journey towards minimalistic or minimalism. So I'm loving that journey. And I also said that it's not easy because you cannot just change your past, but what you can do is learn lessons and just keep on making better. But
See, travel light, what I mean is, yes, with respect to
yes, I got your
materials,
message. It's not about traveling. It's about traveling life, right? As you're talking about
yeah, see, like travel with as minimum emotions and judgments and assumptions.
wow.
Yeah,
And
so
instead of
yeah,
judgments, it is such
yeah, so
great
travel
thing.
light and tread lightly.
Yeah,
So you're not in a hurry to be a good human being. Let it be a journey. Enjoy it.
true.
So
Process.
travel light with responsibility. You will be fine. If I have to tell it in one word,
So even in
one
Master,
line.
we say hashtag trust the process, right? So it's actually trusting the process. And I'm so happy we are on the same page. So thank you so much, Ash. Thank you so much for being here. I have enjoyed listening to you, believe me. And thank you for sharing and contributing on Masterful TV. Thank you so much.
I had a wonderful time. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
And all the best for your future ventures.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.